Hey, Cross Park. I hope you were able to be part of the talent show earlier this week. That was a lot of fun. Lots of thanks to Patrick and the youth group and Katie and Rebecca in the children's ministry for having that idea, putting it together, organizing it, and giving us a wonderful evening. So thank you to you folks and to all the talent that presented something. We're grateful for that. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that time together. Number of announcements, reminders for us about certain things. Particularly, we'll start with this Sunday, the 23rd of November. That's a communion Sunday, so we will have communion this weekend. For our sermon, we will be looking at the text Genesis 28, verses 10 to 22. So we're kind of working our way through the generations in Genesis. We've spent time with Abraham, spent a few weeks with Isaac, and this week we're going to look at Jacob and God's covenant promises to Jacob and his response to that, and the process of faith that Jacob is in chapter 28. So Genesis 28 and communion this Sunday. Would also remind you that for the fellowship time, it's a potluck meal this Sunday morning. So be aware of that. If you haven't already signed up to bring something, please do. Those are fun times just to sit and enjoy fellowship with folks. So hope you're able to come at 9:30 and then have our worship service at 10:30. Secondly, for the next Sunday, the 30th of November, number of things to mention. No fellowship time that Sunday. It's the fifth Sunday. So we're going to take that 9:30 hour off. Worship will still begin at 10:30. Would encourage you to come a little bit early. Coffee will be ready by 10. And so you can hang out for a little bit before the service starts. But on the 30th, worship at 10:30, no fellowship time. The 30th also is the first Sunday of Advent. So we will be incorporating, as we have in recent years, some Advent readings in the worship service. This year will be no different. We'll have Advent readings. Also on the 30th, we will begin Angel Tree. So Polly Thatch is going to make an announcement about that in worship this Sunday. But the following Sunday, November 30th, we're going to start Angel Tree. So there will be a separate table set up, and you can participate in that as you are able. The other thing I'd mention about Advent, we are going to take a break from our Genesis sermon series, and we're going to spend 4 weeks in Luke chapter 1 and chapter 2. So we'll have a series of 4 sermons coming out of Luke 1 and 2 as part of our Advent celebration this year. Third thing to mention is about 2 weeks from now, the first Sunday in December. We have taken the decision to go ahead and move inside. So December, January, and February, we're going to be inside. So that's the big room in the back of Magnolia, where the youth usually meet and where one of our nurseries meets during the worship hour. That's where we're going to have worship. So no need to bring your chairs. We'll get chairs set up in there. Nursery will adjust a little bit. So the check-in is going to be the same place in the lobby of Magnolia. That's where nursery check-in will be. But then the nursery itself is going to be down in the Willow Cabin, which is where the nursing mother's room has been recently. So TBD on where nursing mothers are going to be. But the Willow Cabin will be where nursery is. Check-in will still be in the same spot in that lobby of Magnolia. But then in that smaller room, as you work back past the bathrooms toward the back of Magnolia, the smaller room on the right, we're actually going to have coffee set up in there. And so that won't be overflow for worship. That's going to be a coffee refreshment area. And then the service will be in that large back room in Magnolia. We're making plans to be able to have overflow down in the Sycamore Cabin, if need be. But as it's going right now, it seems like numbers-wise, we should all be able to fit fine in Magnolia. And we'll still have the children's worship things happening during the winter as well. But starting in December, first Sunday in December, we're going to be in that back room there in Magnolia for worship. So we're not going to be trying to figure out every Sunday if we're inside or outside. We're going to be inside for the winter months. Another announcement, just to make sure it's on your radar screen, December 14th in the afternoon. That's the second Sunday of December, the third Sunday of Advent is going to be our Cookies and Carols service. So at 4 o'clock, come on back to Hemby and we're going to have that special time of cookies and carols, lots of singing, lots of scripture reading, beautiful music, and then cookies at the end. So what's not to love? December 14th, 4 o'clock. Last thing I'll mention has to do particularly with me and a sabbatical that I have been granted from by the elders and deacons. Several years ago, I applied for a grant with the Lilly Endowment that's administered by Christian Theological Seminary in Indiana. And you can apply for receiving grant funds for what they call clergy renewal leaves. It's a longer way to say sabbatical, but I applied a couple of years ago and didn't receive the grant, but I did this past year. And so that is for June, July, and August of this coming year. It felt a little awkward to me to receive the grant when we have no pastor. And it felt like it could put our church in an awkward position of having no teaching elder. But the elders and deacons, and with support of others, said, no, Grant, you're going to go. So I'm very thankful, humbled to not only receive the grant, but then to have the church leadership say, yeah, maybe it's an odd time, but you're going to go and we'll figure it out. And so leadership is working to figure out pulpit supply during that time. But I'm very excited to be able to announce now that I'll be on sabbatical June, July, and August of next summer. And it looks like our whole family is going to be able to do some traveling. And so we're solidifying plans at now, but some of the money that the grant provides goes to the church to meet needs for the congregation while the pastor's out. So it shouldn't be a financial burden on Cross Park at all for me to be gone for 3 months, or to pay for pulpit supply. The grant money should cover at least a significant portion of those funds. So excited about that, very thankful, honored and humbled that the church has been so supportive of me and my family, and then this opportunity to go on sabbatical next summer. And confident the Lord's going to be at work. We've seen him at work in our life together as a church in recent months, and trust that he will continue to be as we work our way forward, one step at a time, trusting our Father to lead us by his Spirit, and as we work together for not only our thriving in the gospel, but our neighbors and those around us, ultimately to the ends of the earth. So, Cross Park, love you. Looking forward to being with you in worship on Sunday morning when we get to look at Genesis 28 and take communion together. Grace and peace, my friends.